Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
The peons don't take shots at other peons. You know, they take shots at the top dog.
Wow, the land of make-believe.
Well, hello, Mr. Fancy Pants.
Here we go again. Rick Snay, also known as Delphi After Dark, has made his predictable return. Surprise, surprise. Especially since 69% of respondents in my poll believed he'd be back within a week of his announced departure. His antics are truly that predictable. Yet, if you watched his recent off-the-wall live stream, you'd think he pulled off some shocking, unforeseen comeback by taking off his Tommy Bahama rip-off shirt and revealing his one size too small Snay My Name t-shirt, exposing the shape of his protruding gut and his baloney tits. He claimed it was all a trick to fool us, the haters, or, as he now calls us, Snaters. But let's be honest. He threw another temper tantrum, got pissy, decided he was going to leave again, knowing his viewers would beg him not to go, and then return realizing that he's nothing without his channel. It's just another performance in the land of make-believe. And he's really taken a page from the Anthony Greeno playbook, isn't he? I mean, how many times did Anthony Greeno do this? Or maybe there's just a commonality when it comes to narcissists. He genuinely believes he's the leading voice of the Richard Allen is Innocent movement, and we're all jealous of him. However, a little effortless research quickly debunks that notion. Whether you compare him to Bob Motta, True Crime Design, R&M Productions, or various other despicable Allen supporters, Snay's subscriber count and viewership pale in comparison. Speaking of the Richard Allen is Innocent movement, they've apparently been embroiled in some bizarre civil war amongst themselves, a drama I frankly have no interest in delving into. But here's something I do want to talk about. Is the continual calling out of bad actors like Rick Snay truly helpful? Someone left a comment on my last video that really resonated with me after a few days of reflection. While I'm not sure I agree with everything in the comment, it's certainly worth addressing. Should we be giving people like Snay or the Prof attention? Are we inadvertently fanning the flames of their misguided fire? Do the victims' families gain anything from this ongoing drama? After all, Richard Allen is going to rot in prison for the rest of his days, regardless of what anyone says or thinks. Some of these questions I can't definitively answer. It truly comes down to perspective. Is the focus on results or on principle? I think a compelling argument can be made for both. But where does shining a light on these bad actors reach a point to where they simply feed off the attention rather than being exposed by it? Honestly, despite being a deplorable human being who uses histrionics, Rick Snay poses no real threat to overturning Richard Allen's conviction. The same thing goes for the more popular content creators trying to accomplish just that. Rick Snay is just a shit human being who likes to harass and threaten people by texting or Facebook messaging them at all hours of the night. So, unless something truly unprecedented happens, I think my time is better served elsewhere. But before I conclude this journey, let's put a bow on it. So why am I considered a Snader? And I don't know if I'd go as far as to say that I hate Rick Snay, but I certainly have no respect for his antics. I don't believe he's genuine in anything he says or does. Usually, the truth comes out by simply reading between the lines. He isn't out to right a wrong. He isn't looking to expose or fight injustice in a corrupt county. No, he fundamentally wants to be seen. He craves attention. He has veered into so many different directions that I doubt he even knows up from down anymore. He can't keep up with his own flip flopping, or as he likes to call it, playing chess. He revels in drama, knowing that's where the views come from. So he'll play that card to get his desired results. His attention seeking knows no bounds. He once claimed in a news interview that he was friends with the Paddies. That was a lie. He said it solely to get attention. He would later accuse the Paddies of being part of a cover up. In the same interview, he claimed he had heard Richard Allen's name before, one time before his arrest. Another lie, again to garner attention. He lied and claimed Abby and Libby were violated with wood crosses from a nearby cemetery. Again, another lie. He lied about not sharing leaked crime scene photos. Another lie. He showed them to Julie Melvin, and she magically happened to have copies after. He also used that situation to garner more views. He claimed he was going to testify, but that was another lie. Instead, he got kicked out of the courthouse for acting like a clown, along with his enemy turned friend, Noe. He then lied about Judge Gull, lying about the event in a court order for the reason of banning him and Noe, conveniently using the incident to trump himself up, and claimed they kicked him out because they were scared of letting him testify. But this is my favorite flip-flop of this egotistical clown. Let's watch.
Yeah, I happened to say, somebody said something about, well, everybody just needs to accept the fact that he's guilty because the jury said he's guilty. The jury heard all the evidence and they said he was guilty unanimously, right? Well, there's a couple of problems there.
Well, you have the people that believe he's guilty, and then you have the people who think he's innocent. Hopefully, when the verdict is announced, whatever it is, both sides can just agree to accept it. Both sides can just agree to accept it.
You pieces of shit got to the jury, didn't you? Now we continue the fight. All right? This is not the end.
What? What the fuck?
I'm just a clown.
I guess it's easy to say when one thinks the verdict will go their way, but Snay treated it like a sports game. In his mind, his team lost, hence the game is rigged. Of course, I don't treat these trials like games, nor should anyone. In this regard, Snay is no different from Anthony Greeno. He makes exaggerated claims, or he outright lies, simply to make himself seem more important than he actually is in his land of make-believe. Snay's latest divorce marks his fifth failed marriage, and predictably, he claimed it was a mutual decision. Since when is calling your soon-to-be ex-wife a witch a term indicative of mutual agreement? This implosion, it seems, stemmed from his insanity bleeding into her professional life. Instead of de-escalating for the sake of her job and their marriage, he insisted she fall in line, pick his side, and abandon her career. His delusional fantasy was that they could sue for a buttload of money. When she refused to go along with this absurd scheme, all hell broke loose, leading to her departure. Of course, none of this was Snay's fault, right? He was simply standing his ground, all in the name of justice, naturally. Or, more accurately, in the name of his unbridled narcissism. Also worth mentioning that he's not exactly Father of the Year to some of his bloodline, but I'll leave it at that. Do you see a pattern here? Chaos consistently trails this clown. It brings to mind a quote from the movie Con Air. He's a font of misplaced rage. Now he's so angry, moments of levity actually cause him pain, gives him headaches. Happiness, for that gentleman, hurts. But take it from Snay, as he claims he was born for a storm, because a calm simply doesn't suit him. Now, let's talk about his imaginary tough guy act, shall we? He fancies himself as a Patrick Swayze-like dude from Roadhouse, a formidable bouncer ready to defend. He once claimed that if anyone verbally attacked his wife, he'd personally beat them up. Of course, this is pure posturing. No, he verbally attacked his wife, and Snay did precisely nothing. Well, unless you want to consider a belly bump and some jawing doing something, then okay, but he really didn't do anything, did he? Later, he went on to befriend Noe, so, wow. And then you have Anthony Greeno. What did he do? Well, he threatened to murder his wife and his kids on multiple occasions. Not once, but multiple. And what happened? Did Greeno get what was coming to him? The ass-kicking of a lifetime? No. Instead, they met up and disrespectfully shared a joint near the crime scene. Real fucking classy. This serves as clear evidence that Rick, Grandpa won't hurt you, Snay, does not practice what he preaches. It's merely showmanship for the live streams. Of course, many of us, for different reasons, have been subjected to threats from Roadhouse Snay. If anyone shrugs off his little veiled threats, he immediately labels them a coward, conveniently mistaking legal consequences for weakness. Now, let's pretend for a moment that Snay genuinely wants a fight. How, precisely, does that benefit the person who agrees to his supposed challenge? Well, let's consider the legal ramifications in Indiana. A fight happens, and it could escalate from a Class B misdemeanor battery to a felony battery. Really, it depends on where that falls once the dust settles. The consequences could range from 100 days to several years in prison. Or, when it comes to fines, it could be anywhere from $1,000 to $5,000 plus. It's also worth noting that Indiana does not have a specific mutual combat law that legalizes consensual fights. This means even if both parties agree to a fist fight, they can still face criminal charges, most commonly battery or disorderly conduct, pardon me, depending on the circumstances and injuries. Law enforcement retains the discretion to charge one or both parties. I've also checked the law in Ohio regarding this, and it's not any better. So, is it worth the money and or being locked up? No. Not to a rational thinking mature adult. As satisfying as it would be to uppercut his double chin, it's simply not worth losing my job or sacrificing precious time with my family. Assuming he's ever serious, which he's not, I have far more to lose than he does. Unlike Snay, I actually have my life together. I'm in my 40s. I enjoy a stable career. I pay the mortgage on a lovely home in a nice suburb, and I have a reliable vehicle that I can take anywhere I want to. And if I want or need to travel, I don't need to rent a U-Haul van for both transportation and overnight shelter. Rick Snay is about 60, has a history of unstable employment and relationships, and currently needs 3 jobs just to cover rent with a roommate. Call me crazy, but if life were a contest, I think I'm winning, even with these skinny arms that he claims that I have. But let's talk about what he truly loves to brag about: his subscriber and view counts. He constantly boasts about these numbers, seemingly believing they provide validation for his life. He loves to compare himself to other content creators, myself included. As of this recording, he boasts over 6,000 subscribers and over 1 million views. Because of this, he clearly thinks he's superior to people like me. I, on the other hand, I have over 4,000 subscribers and more than 356,000 views. By the raw numbers alone, he certainly has more. There's no questioning that. But what does Snay always like to say? Context is king. And yes, it absolutely is. So let's break down these numbers with proper context. Rick Snay has 559 videos. I have 123, not including the one I'm making right now. Therefore, we can't compare apples to apples when it comes to total views, as he's produced significantly more content while I've made considerably less. However, we can break it down based on average views per video. If we were to take his 559 videos and divide his total view count by that number, he averages around 2,087 views per video. Now, let's take my 123 videos and let's divide my total views by that, and it comes out to approximately 2,896 views per video. This means I'm getting roughly 109 more views on an average video than he is. His highest view count on his channel is 34,000, mine 59,000, soon to break 60. So could you imagine what my total views would be if I had produced 559 videos at the same time he did? The math would clearly demonstrate that my total views would be vastly superior. Now, does any of this truly matter to me? No, it doesn't. But it clearly matters to him. While I genuinely aim to spread awareness and information, and yeah, I want those to get views, clearly. I'm not trying to scream into the void. He does it purely for self-attention. Our goals are not the same. But with that aside, if subscriber count and views genuinely matter to Rick Snay, as they clearly do, then he must concede he is vastly insignificant compared to people like Hughes. And Gray has over 159,000 subscribers and more than 32 million views. Now, I'm not a fan of Gray either, but it does mean, according to Rick Snay's logic, that Hughes is better than Rick Snay. That's based on his own logic. And with that said, I think I'm officially done with this guy. I mean, he can acknowledge and try to refute what I've laid out here, or not at all. It makes no difference to me. I just don't see the point in going back and forth with a dude who needs to occasionally pretend to be Bill Clinton or Mickey Mouse. If people can't see him for the delusional prick that he is, then God help them if he deems it fitting to do so. It's time to move on. This doesn't mean I won't support those who do continue to call him out. It just means I won't, because I have much more to accomplish. And that clown is nothing more than a mere footnote on my channel. There are more cases to cover and plenty more bad actors to expose. I'm Rick Mullinax. This is Burn After Reading. I'll catch your ass down the road.